Like you know each other.
We do know.
All right, have a great show.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Witching Hour. If the screen looks a little different today, it's because we're doing it a little different today because I have a very special guest, and her name is Patty, and she is a friend, and she is a neighbor. So we thought, why not do it live? You may know who she is, you may not know who she is, but I bet you've seen her work. She is a world-renowned makeup
Phone's
artist.
ringing. Should we get it?
Is that mine? Oh my God. Sorry. And that was such a good start. No, my husband should be getting it. Sorry, Rob. We'll start over.
Hello.
Yeah. All
I
right.
forgot to tell you about the haunted answering machine that nobody knows how
Yeah,
to
but we're
answer.
upstairs from the haunted answering machine, but we still heard it in the kitchen. Not as bad as it is when it's ringing in my ear with it. We're going to start.
All right.
You look gorgeous. God, I love your hair. Hey, everybody, this is Patty. Welcome to the Witching Hour. If it looks a little different on screen today, it's because it is a little different. We are both in the same place because this is a dear friend and a neighbor. And in case you don't recognize her, you will know her work. She is a renowned makeup artist and magic girl, Patty Dubroff. Welcome, Patty.
Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I like to do things different. So I like to shake the tree a little bit. So
Yes.
I'm like, no, let's do this in person.
For
I
coming
want
live.
to sit next to you.
Yes, we've been planning to do this for a while, so it really works out. So hello, producer Rob. So again, this is going to be really fun because I must say, I fell in love with this woman the minute we met. Even though we haven't known each other very long, it's one of those I've known you for a lifetime kind of girls.
Remember when we met, we looked at each other and were like, wait, we look alike.
Yeah,
This is weird.
and I know you, and
I know
there's
you.
something
There's
going on.
Oh, there, even I see it right now. It's so weird.
And of course, she's a witchy girl. And you guys pay attention to that when you first meet people, because it's interesting how people come into your lives. Whether people, all of a sudden the person you met in the grocery store is one of your best friends, or something that you've been forced on you by family friends. It doesn't work. Listen to the energy. Listen to the energy, because universe, your guides, whatever, are talking to you.
Yeah, when I booked a reading with you, I didn't know that you lived in, I figured you lived in Los Angeles, but I had no idea where. Los Angeles is a very big town. And I just had this feeling that you were going to be nearby. And it turns out we are really neighbors, like walking every morning neighbors.
Yes, walking
together.
every morning. She actually walked to my house for the session. And again, inseparable since then.
Mhm.
So she is a renowned makeup artist. You have seen her work on magazine covers, on red carpets, the biggest and best and A-list of celebrities all over. So, and again, and like I said, she's a spiritual and a witchy and a magical, amazing spirit in herself. So how did, just a little bit, how did you like, or not origin story, but how did you get into this world of magic and makeup?
Ooh, so which one, makeup or magic?
Yes.
Because I feel like for a long time I saw them as two different paths. I didn't see the synergy for a long time. So makeup, I was a little girl and I was obsessed with makeup from when I can remember like 10 years old, sitting in front of my mother's makeup table thinking, I want to do this when I grow up. And way back then, that was
Yeah.
the 70s,
Yeah.
makeup artist wasn't a known career like it is now. And so I just knew that I loved those things and I loved what they were capable of doing. So I was always the girl who was like doing everyone's makeup in high school for plays and dances and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as I graduated high school, moved to New York City, got a job at a makeup counter. Then I started doing photo shoots, test shoots, they're called. And then I was working at MTV in the studios. And then I started assisting very, very renowned and very respected makeup artists in the fashion world, and then working in high fashion shows, blah, blah, blah. And this is the era of the supermodel. And then from there, it kind of transitioned to Hollywood, which is where we are now.
Where we are now.
Oh, so that was makeup.
Okay.
Then spiritual, also as a young girl, I was very interested in spirituality, but I didn't have a family that had the same interests. So I was the girl who would like go to churches with my neighbors because they were going to church and I wanted to go anywhere that seemed like a spiritual environment. And that led me to in my early 20s I found my first teacher, my guru, my meditation teacher, and I went to India and had a very profound reconnection. And then I lived in a meditation ashram for many years in my early 20s. And as I was simultaneously building my career, but also taking a pause from my career to build myself. And so again, I saw things as like two different tracks for a really long time. And the tracks came together much more recently now that I've really come to know myself better.
That is beautiful. So how does it work? Okay, say you're doing, again, I'm a Barbie girl. You guys all know that. Margot Robbie. She is what, Margot Robbie's
I didn't
name.
work on a movie, but I did Margot's makeup for all the press tour. And for many years, I've been doing all of her red carpet and Chanel campaigns, all that stuff.
She's
Yeah.
a Chanel girl. Those beautiful Chanel ads when you go, wow, I want to look like that. She made
Just
them look
Margot.
like that.
Yeah.
Just
Not all of them.
so anyway, so how does it work now? Now that you've kind of integrated again, you have a deep and beautiful spiritual practice, and we can get into a little bit about that. Even want to talk about your recent trip to India if you want. But how does it integrate now that you know that they are one in the path? Say you're going in, you're going to do a red carpet or you're going to do a magazine shoot.
Well, I didn't know of the term glamour magic until just a few years ago. And so I just knew that I was a good makeup artist, and knew that I had this capability to transform someone from plain face to glamorous. Now I understand more of the magic that is involved. And so I wouldn't say I outwardly share what I'm kind of magically doing, but I know very much so that with each stroke, it's an act of magic. With each kind of enhancement, it is further empowering that person to shine brighter. So it's imparting my magic onto them, but I don't necessarily get them involved in it. There's a couple of clients that I can talk to about that, and we can together intentionally work some magic.
Yeah.
But that's very private, and I wouldn't share who that is and how that's done. But one thing I can say about that is when it is like cohesively shared, there's the ability to understand that the presence of one. Wow, you are popular today. She's so popular. Actually, when we go hiking together, her phone is like fuego fire all the time. And I'm like, this is one of the most popular women I know. So we can keep talking. Just let him keep ringing.
He's going to do it. It's my husband should be answering the door.
Oh, hello.
Okay. Hi, Carrie. It's the gardener. We're in the middle of taping though. If we can. Hi.
I thought it was the.
It is. It's the gardener.
Oh, where'd he go?
He's outside.
In the back?
No, he was just out there.
He was just
I don't
standing
know.
right there. He's still there.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay. Sorry, Rob.
Life is
It's
life-thing.
professional.
Life is life-thing.
Okay.
What were we
so
saying?
picking up
what
where
were we
This is
saying?
the good
So
stuff.
when it's cohesive and kind of understood the magic that's being done, it's understood that the presence of someone who's standing in their power is able to affect the audience in a very profound way by maybe opening the heart, maybe helping them feel joy, helping them, feel more grounded, depending on what the intention is. So there's a little bit of that in the mix.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, do you notice, because you do work with, celebrities, whether the movie industry or glamour and beauty, do you notice a difference in them? Maybe not their spiritual practice, but energetically with them? Do they seem more open or less open or more protective or less? Or is there just not a generalization at all?
When do I notice a difference when?
When, say, if in people on the street, or when you're sitting there with people that have like got some form of fame or notoriety, or because usually it takes some work to get there, or luck, or a whole weird combination
It
of both.
does, but here's another thing about the fame game, which you know. It can make people much more insecure than they would if they were in normal circumstances. So the level of kind of fear and insecurity can be heightened because of the level of scrutiny that they are about to be facing when they're on a red carpet or in a very high profile situation. So very much my role is to help keep them even keeled, hopefully calm. I mean, I'm a very calm
Yeah, she's
person.
calm.
But also like keep it real, like you got this, and for them to remember to stay grounded, to stay protected, maybe, to remind them like, hey, a little black tourmaline in your bra could really kind of help the situation. Um, and also to really like stay rooted in their power. If I have the opportunity to remind them, if we don't have a relationship like that, my intention is to give them that through the brush strokes.
That is beautiful. So now, what does that mean? How could somebody do that? Say you're just a regular person and you're doing your makeup, you're going out, you have a hot date, or you're going to work. How can we add some of that glamour to ourselves? Sitting there looking in the mirror, which I do believe we need to charm our own mirrors, that we just see that best. But what can somebody do?
Right. When we look in the mirror, most often, unless we have a beautiful ring light and some kind of soft focus filter, we're going to start judging ourselves pretty harshly because we are not the version of ourselves that we wish that we would be, or that society is expecting us to be, or that we used to be now that we're older, blah, blah, blah. So the first step is meeting ourselves in the mirror and really, really connecting, taking a breath, and saying a spell of confidence, however that looks. What is that like? I believe in myself. I love myself. I love how I am. I love who I am today. I love how I look today. However that resonates with you. And then with each brush stroke, it's like you're worshiping a goddess. I mean, for lack of a better way to put it, that's what we are doing. We are elevating, uplifting, worshiping, and embellishing the goddess that we are.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, it is true. It is scary because we have ring lights right now.
We do. We have
But
two.
we have two ring lights right now.
And a little daylight.
daylight going on. But
She's so popular.
but I look at, again, we've been around a while, so we know kind of reality a little bit more. But I look at some of these young ones coming up that their life has been on a Snapchat filter, which no matter what gives you full and puffy lips and this and eyelashes, and you pick the kind of false eyelashes you want on a filter. And no one can ever meet that. I don't care if you're a 20-year-old supermodel.
Well, that's the thing that I've come to realize with like people that are famous is when they wake up in the morning, they don't look like the famous person that they are supposed to be either. So they require a lot of training to get ready for a big event, whether, that's like, working out training, having facialists do their magic, all the things. And then before an event, there's like 3 hours of, professionals in their face and in their space, getting them ready to be that person that everyone's expecting them to be. So when we meet ourselves in the mirror and we filtered ourselves in, through social media and whatever, and then we're meeting the reality of who we are, it can be off-putting. And that's where having to stay really confident and grounded in who you are and what your real like talents and importance is. And that's hard. It's so hard.
But the hard stuff is the good
The
stuff.
hard stuff is
The hard stuff is the good stuff. So look at that mirror and go,
Yeah.
I am fabulous.
I am fabulous.
I'm fabulous. So again,
And I have to say, like, I have earned these crevices because I've had a really good life. I've smiled a lot. I frowned a lot. But I personally am going to just live with and accept them because of my personal value system in that I don't want to kind of go for a quick fix of injectables. And that's a whole other conversation. And there's no judgment, but that's just me. And that's
Right.
how I roll.
And that is a good conversation because I'm one going, give me a quick fix, please. I don't know. We got a little something here, but so there is not a right or wrong choice, but whatever feels for you. But you don't even need it. You have this natural glamour about you.
I mean, I know how to put on makeup to distract, and we also know how to light things. I mean, lighting is everything.
Yeah.
Especially lighting is everything. Lighting is everything when you're doing your makeup. That's a huge important thing. Like when you're doing your makeup, don't be in a room with overhead lighting because you're going to look shadowy and crevasey and you're not going to start at the right place. Try to get near a window. There's so many available like mirrored light options now, but try to do it in daylight because daylight is the truth serum so that when you go into any environment, your makeup's going to look great. That's number one, but lighting is everything. And, as a makeup artist, probably one of the most important things in my kit, besides my brushes and, some makeup, is my lights that I carry, because I'm not going to do someone's makeup in poor lighting. It's just going to look poor.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I fight, and I will actually come out here to my dining
It's the
room.
best- this is the best place to do makeup.
Into the light when I can't get it right in the bathroom.
I take my little makeup bag and I go to a window or a door, and even if I'm on the floor cross-legged, I'm in that natural light by a window, and that's going to be the best light for your application.
So what do you think? And then we're going to move on to some more spirituality, but we do love makeup.
We love makeup.
What do you think, again, whether we're talking fashion of the day or just in general, what are some of the biggest mistakes that mostly women, can be men too, but that we make? Or what do you see? And you're walking down the street, you're at the mall, you're at the movie theater, you're at the store. What is the biggest mistakes that we tend to make?
Yeah. I mean, I don't love to focus on people's mistakes.
No, I know.
Yeah,
And
but
we're not being judgmental
right.
about it.
I mean, over powdering is the first thing that comes to mind because especially as we get older, powder's not our friend. Powder is excessive powder, not our friend. Also, foundation, okay, application of complexion products. Some people think that like one size fits all. So let's say you're doing one foundation and it matches you here, and then you put it all over your face, and then all of a sudden you become like very like moon face and too bright. Or you're matching it here, and then as soon as you put it in the middle of your face, it kind of looks heavy and not so bright. So using multiple shades of foundation, hugely important. I just use concealers as foundation, and I literally used 4 shades this morning because I use the lightest shade, the second to lightest shade, a medium shade, and then the darkest shade to like kind of contour or like where I have these like dark pigment spots. So that kind of thing is like really important. Another thing that I see, I mean, thank God people aren't doing like the heavy contouring and baking so much anymore. But a few years ago, I would have been like, please stop, please stop. Nobody wants to look at you with dark stripes on your face. I think I think that skincare is like, for me, skincare is the most important makeup because, if you go into your makeup routine with your skin already looking juicy, looking vibrant, like being like its best, you don't need so much makeup to try to pretend that. So that's, probably my biggest.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm like a concealer girl. I don't have 4 shades though. I can't wait till she does my makeup. We're gonna
We should
because
tape that.
we should, okay,
We
we will
should.
take that. Then you
Yeah.
guys can see how to do this,
Mhm.
mature phase. Because I must say, as you've seen her work, whatever that is, she is amazing. But really, I've had my makeup done by people I've wanted to run into the bathroom and scream and cry and wash my face or stick my head in the toilet going, what did you do? But I won't stick my head in the toilet. But
yeah. I think another thing is like people get a little too like heavy on the eyeshadow. And when you're young, actually, even when you're young, it's not so cool. It's not so chic. Like no one needs layers and layers of powdery things on their eyelids. The skin is so delicate there. So it's like keeping it more, you can make a statement, but there's a pulling back.
Right.
that I prefer in my kind of personal aesthetic.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm not a big heavy makeup girl by any means. I'm not even good at I don't even know how to do
I
that.
think you do your makeup really well.
I think
Yeah, I love the way you do your eyes.
It's pretty
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
But I
Simple is, there is nothing wrong with
there's nothing
simple.
wrong with simple.
Nothing wrong
But
with
I
simple.
just need to learn how to put on false eyelashes.
Yeah, well, that's hard. False
It-
eyelashes are hard, and there's brands that they go on top, and there's brands that go underneath, and it's a hard. I'm not good at it, and I've turned down clients who are very known for wearing a big lash because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do it well. So I'm like, I don't think I'm the right person, and I don't want to set myself up for failure, and I don't want to set them up. She's so popular. I don't want to set them up for disappointment. So better to say no.
Okay, I get that. Yeah, because I really, 100 years ago was a teen model when you had to wear the eyelashes. I would be crying 2 hours, end up with red, bloodshot, swollen eyes, and two crooked eyelashes. So now that they're a thing to wear again, I'm like, no, maybe I could grow some eyelashes. Maybe I could
You want
do
to
something.
pause with the machine going?
Yeah. Well,
She's so popular.
no, so professional.
We're not in a studio. We're in a home.
We're in a home. I know.
And wow, you still have an answering machine. So old school.
It is, yeah. My producer Rob, we can leave it, makes fun of he calls it my 1985 answering machine. But it's not, it's at least late 90s.
I love that.
But I have two landlines and three cell phones, and none of them work good. I don't know what kind of,
cell phone.
well, because one I transfer to a landline because the landlines aren't good, and AT&T doesn't want to fix them. And I don't know why. Who doesn't have 5 lines? I don't know. And again, if I had one working line, it would probably do the best. So anyway, eyelashes, makeup. So let's go into like your magical practice. One thing that I got so impressed with you when we first met is we have this place here right near both of our homes in Hollywood called Crotona. It was built in the 1920s or early
1912.
1912, before the 1920s. And it was this magical place of magical people. And you actually helped save that. So tell us a little bit about that, because
Oh, wow,
it's
it's
fascinating.
a big story, but we'll do Cliff Note
Okay.
version. Crotona was built in 1912 by the Theosophists, and you might want to kind of put a pause on this and go check out Theosophy, Madame Blavatsky, Annie Besant, and what Theosophy is about. But it was like a religion. It was a religion that was incorporating all the religions of the world, especially Eastern and Western melting pot. And in a time where this was very radical, it was like yoga wasn't a known thing. So the Theosophists wanted to build a utopian community in America. They had one in India and in the UK. And so they spent 6 years dousing for the perfect piece of land to build this utopian community. And again, 6 years, Arizona, New Mexico, up and down California, when they got to this hill in Los Angeles, was not called Hollywood then. It was just a beautiful mountain with all farmland. The dowsing rods went off and they found the spot. And so that became the place where Crotona was founded and born. And Crotona was all about blending spirituality and the arts, vegetarian living, community living, but again, spirituality and the arts. And again, look at Theosophy and look at all of the incredible artists and thinkers and radical people who were Theosophists back in the day. And they were all part of this movement. So the Theosophists then moved to Ojai after a dozen years, and the building, the very magical building, then became like a Hollywood hangout, crash pad for new Hollywood silent film era. And then it's became apartments, as it's an apartment complex. And I came across it a few years ago because I was starting to understand Theosophy. This was pandemic time, and I was learning about more magical ways of thinking. And Madame Blavatsky kind of crossed my screen. And as I've told Patty, when I saw an image of her, I was like, whoa, I know that, but I don't know it from now. I know it from somewhere else. And so then it came to be that the Crotona was somewhere that someone I knew was living, and that I got to visit the dome, which was the charged meditation room, and the altar room. And then cut to a very short time later, it fell in my lap and I was able to rent it as my home office. But it was in need of a lot of attention and help. It was sadly falling by the wayside. And all of the buildings were also in really bad condition. They had been not so well kept. So with that, I realized, wait, these should be historical, listed buildings. This is the first buildings in Hollywood. This is the most historical thing here. And the owners had not done the process of making it historically landmarked. So I reached out to LA Conservancy. I gave them a, hey, look what's hiding in plain sight. And they decided to take on the project and apply to have Crotona historically landmarked. Hopefully, it will also become a National Register landmark. And it is. I'm really happy to say it was landmarked. And I moved out after living again staying there for 18 months. I
And fixing it.
and fixing it.
Beautifully.
I did a really beautiful job renovating the space. It was magical, and it was actually where I truly learned about how manifestation is so possible and real, and all the pieces started clicking together of how I've been able to manifest throughout my life, and how magical that kind of intentionality is.
That's
So,
beautiful. So now it is saved. This beautiful
saved.
building is saved. It will not, otherwise it would, like everything else in the city, so often torn down,
Yeah.
some ugly square condos put up, and thank you, Patty, for that.
Yeah. It
Um,
nearly wrecked me. Not gonna lie, it was intense, and it was quite a journey. Felt like a possession.
and at least it was a success, though.
It
A
was
beautiful-
successful.
And this is a magical area, this Hollywood area. It wasn't called Hollywood. I have known for years that I think Hollywood is right where it is because of these energy vortexes in the hills
It's a
here. They
portal.
It's a portal. It's a beautiful portal.
Mhm.
And that's why it's drawn in the creative industry and musicians and actors and makeup artists and the religious. There's 7 religious things right
Mhm.
within a mile
And
of us.
those dowsing rods went off for a reason,
Yeah.
because they were looking for the vortex, the portal.
Yeah.
And it was sacred land for the indigenous tribes that were here, the Tongva tribe. Apparently that piece of land and this mountain was very, very sacred
Yeah.
to the Tongva people. So it was just refound, and we've all been drawn here because it's
Magic.
magical.
Ah! Yeah, it is. It's kind of a love-hate place. It draws in the creative,
And it's a lot.
and it's a lot. Or people like, oh yeah, I can't go to that in Hollywood. So it's for those of us who are drawn to it. I can't imagine living. I love to travel, but I honestly can't imagine living anywhere else. Speaking of anywhere else, before we go though, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about your recent trip to India. Talk about spiritual quests and big quests on that.
Well, I've been to India numerous times, and most recently was just a month ago. There was a gathering of spiritual seekers of the Hindu faith called the Kumbh Mela. Again, you might want to put pause here and go check out Kumbh Mela. And it was a gathering that happens every 12 years. But the big one, because it's all astrologically aligned, so it's I can't explain it in a nutshell, but astrologically aligned. So the big one, the Maha one, happens every 144 years, and that was this one that just happened. So spiritual seekers, Hindu primarily, but spiritual seekers, come to bathe in the confluence of rivers, which is where the Mela grounds happens. And it's like a temporary city that gets popped up.
Wow.
Over the course of 6 weeks, at first the number was 400 million seekers will, make it to the Mela grounds over the course of this 6-week kind of event. But then I just heard recently that it was more like 600 million that actually attended. So we went to we didn't do a full bathe or a snom, it's called. We did a put our feet in, and we didn't. I it's didn't feel comfortable going all the way in the water, but I preserved some water. Oh, I should bring you a little.
I bring water back from all over the world.
We brought water back.
Isn't
I've
it
got water. I've got some water for you. And we stayed in a place called Varanasi, which is, again, put a pause on this. Check out Varanasi or Benares or Kashi, because it's one of the most ancient cities in the world.
Mm.
And it is the most auspicious place for Hindus to be cremated and to die. So the cycle of life is very present there. So it's a city that's also on the river, the Ganga, and it's near where the Mela grounds are. So we stayed in Varanasi and went to the Mela for just a day, which I think on the day we were there were 50 million people casual. It was a lot. It was amazing. It was one of the most incredible reminders of that there is so much unity in division.
Mm.
And one thing that I really love about like being in India and being around spiritual seekers is people meet you in the eye. They look you in the eye, and like I feel like in the rest of the world we're looking at our phone, or we can't meet someone in the eye. But in India, no matter who you are, what caste, what your life choices, you meet people in the eye, and we remember we are all the same.
Yeah.
We are all spirit. So that was my grand takeaway from my big Kumbh Mela adventure.
So this really was the biggest gathering in the world ever, right?
Ever. This was ever.
So that
It makes we were calling it like Burning Man times a million. Like woo.
Burning Man is nothing.
Burning Man. There would be no Burning Man if there was no Kumbh Mela, which has been going on for thousands of years.
Wow.
It's a deep tradition, and again,
It
put a
does.
pause and check that out because it's fascinating.
Sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. Anyway, this is magical, and I'm gonna have to do something else and maybe do a whole makeup thing or something and tape it. But other than that, how can people, now that they're going to be intrigued by you, like I am, and fall in love with you, how can they follow you? Any websites, social media, so people want to know Patty better?
Well, website, actually, my website is like kind of defunct. So forget the website for now.
Forget the
But
website.
social media, Instagram, TikTok, at Patty, Pati, one T, one I, Dubroff, Dubroff. I'm sure it's written here somewhere.
It is.
I have Instagram and TikTok, and I'll do some, get ready with me tutorials, and a lot of my clients. I mean, I like to show my clients and my work there, and yeah, I like to share things I'm into, and it's a mostly makeup page, but there's some weaving in of the spiritual because it is so much about who I am and what I care about.
Right. And the makeup, it's really great tutorials, because I've learned a lot from you. How to do makeup like this, how to do mature makeup, how to do this, how to do that, how to look like so and so. It's like, yeah. So it's really, if you have the thing about makeup at all, or just want to look your very best, check it out.
Yeah, I had because I've been around for a minute and been doing makeup for a few minutes. There was a series recently that went pretty viral because I had done Mary-Kate and Ashley's makeup back in the 2000s, and I had heard that it was like a thing what they looked like back then, and I saw the image. I'm like, I did their makeup for that. So my friend encouraged me, like, do a thing, get the look of that. And I realized that people are really interested in some of the kind of looks from the past. So maybe I can put a call out if there's something that you want to see recreated. Send me a message, like DM me, and I can get some ideas for things that I can make more content about.
That is perfect. I love it. So you guys check her out, follow her, like her, learn to be your most beautiful because you are your most beautiful. Yeah.
It's right here. It's all in here.
Isn't she great? Oh my God. So not last words, any words of wisdom before we sign off and send people to look up all those great things?
You guys are so lucky that she keeps giving you this. So keep following that because I follow that.
Thank you. Welcome to the Witching. It's like sisters.
Patty squared.
Patty squared.
We're gonna have a patty party
With other patties. So
Other
that'd be
patties.
patty thrice
or more.
or more. Patty four. I don't know how to even do the math. We're gonna have to work on the big girl math.
Yeah,
Anyway, bye guys.
that was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Okay.
All right, let's do a quick commercial.
Rob.
Can you hear me?
Left.
There he is.
Can you hear me or no?
We can't hear you. You're
Oh, weird.
muted.
Hello.
Can you see the
Can't
text?
hear you.
Oh, that was only a half an hour.
Test.
That's
Can you
what
hear
we
me
do.
Oh
now?
my God. Wow.
We've been wanting more.
Wow.
Yeah, go look through all my.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Okay. That was great. Let's do our quick promo.
Yeah, okay, great. So it works like this, being like this, right? I think it did. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, promo, and like I say, this week on the Witching Hour, we have renowned celebrity makeup artist and magic girl Patty Dubreuil, or call you anything else you want.
That's great.
And then I'm going to go, what are we going to talk about this week, Patty? And you, in like 3-4 lines, you could say,
Okay.
bringing magic and makeup, this or that,
Okay.
celebrity, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
So we just go? Okay.
Yep.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Witching Hour. Are you seeing double? I don't know. This week we have renowned celebrity makeup artist and very magical girl, Patty Dubreuil. It's going to be different and amazing and great. What are we going to talk about this week, Patty?
Well, Patty squared. We're going to talk about glamour magic and what that means to me and what that can mean to you. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about how you can get the best results from doing your makeup, where you do it. Lighting is everything. And we're going to talk a little bit about a little side project that I had in conservation. That was wild. And maybe a little talk about, breaking down what it really means to be a famous person in Hollywood and the bags that they carry.
You don't want to miss it. See you on the Witching Hour. I love being together.